Yo, what is going on? It is Maokai27 here with the All Elements Dimensional Predator Boss. We have the Fire Vampire, Inagami, Panda, Harpu, and Lightning Emperor. For the first stage, I went for the Dark Beast Monk because he has the ability to defend an ally for 3 turns, reducing their damage to 0, and he will take 50% of that damage. We have to go for the Beast Monk. If we don't, it'll disrupt our damage on any target if he gets a turn. Due to the Light Yeti's passive, we go for him next. It is called Silent Rage. He counterattacks with a 50% chance when an ally is attacked. We're going to start speeding up certain sections of the fight so that we can get to the next part. Once the enemy dies, Baelger will gain stacks on his passive, Gain Knowledge. Baelger has a few ways to gain stacks of Gain Knowledge. 1 is from getting buffs from an ally. 2 is from any ally or enemy dying. Baelger's third skill will attack the enemies in the order of low HP to high HP, based on the number of knowledge stacks he has. The middle boss has 2 different bosses. They will have to be killed at the same time in order to get through the next stage, or the other one will res its ally. You'll want to defense break each of them using the Panda and Rauk. Throughout the fight, you are going to use the Panda and the Harpu to give Baelger stacks on his passive. Colleen is great for attack break on both of the mini bosses. You can use Baelger's auto attack to remove the shield buff on the right mini boss. Make sure you're careful and damage each mini boss down evenly. When the enemies are low on HP, use Baelger's third skill to deal the final blow. Due to the Light Panda's passive, Strong Energy, we go for him first. The passive is extremely effective against the Fire Vampire. The Light Panda's passive allows him to get attack gauge whenever the Fire Vampire moves, and decreases the Fire Vampire's effectiveness by 50%. Next, we're going to go for the Dark Bearman because he has a lot of stuns and disruptions to the team as well as cleanse. After the first few units die, Baelger's passive and third skill make short work of the next units. Whenever the dots are applied to your team, use the Panda's second skill to cleanse it. On this run, I didn't use the Fire Panda's skill 2 the first time the dots were applied, but he can use his third skill every single time the boss applies the dots. We want to apply the defense break and attack break as often as possible. You'll notice a counter in the upper right going up as the boss is being hit. This works like the giant boss passive, but it stacks up to 15 instead, and it stuns the enemy and doing massive damage as well. So we don't want to do unnecessary hits to the boss, and we can use Colleen's attacks and the Panda's attacks to the towers on the right. Another thing to note is that Rauk's team up ability does reduced damage, so you're only going to want to use his auto attack on the boss. I found it was worth to use the vampire's attacks on the boss as it did enough damage. Be careful on who gets counterattacked when the stacks get to 15. For my team, it was going to be my Fire Vampire, and he's pretty squishy, so I attacked the tower instead and allowed my Fire Panda to take the counter hit. Once you defeat the boss for the first time, you'll be sucked into another realm. There, you will encounter 2 of your units at random. For me, I got Rauk and Baelger. Due to Rauk being able to apply defense break and team up, I went for him first. In this realm, you have 20 turns to finish this stage. One thing to note is that Baelger's passive gained knowledge will transfer from boss stage to ad stage. You will have another round of dealing with the boss. Proceed just like you did during stage 1. One thing that will help your damage during the ad stage is to save your stacks on your Baelger. Be sure to keep track of the attack counter. And there's no need for greed in this stage, so play it safe and have your tank the revenge hit. If you lose the Fire Vampire like I did, it's not the end of the world. For this stage, I got the Fire Harpu and the Fire Pan. I went for Colleen and focused on defense break and heal cut. Remember to keep in mind that you still have 20 turns to get through this stage. After the Fire Panda uses his skill 2, you can use Colleen's skill 2 to heal cut him. Baelger also has the ability to strip with skill 1. After we finish off the final ad, Baelger will come out with stacks. The boss will put a debuff on one of your units. That unit will have increased damage and will die after 2 turns. Once that unit dies, it will move to an additional ally. Another thing to note is this is a DPS race. You're going to want to damage the boss as fast as possible. Keep track of the attack counter. You can use this to your advantage. When one of your allies is about to die, you can attack the boss with that unit. The boss will then do massive damage to that unit, and then the unit will die. That will save a lot of damage to your remaining units. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. And for help live, you can find me on Malkar27 at twitch.com.